Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm excited to be doing a summer TBR, and while I was doing that, I thought that I would also incorporate a kind of summer playlist as well, because I create playlists every 3 months for every season with just songs that I'm vibing to in the moment. So I thought I would share some of the songs that I'm looking forward to listening to or have been listening to the past few weeks, and the songs that I'm hoping will kind of define my summer. So there's some old favorites, some new favorites, some ones that I'm sure aren't really like summer songs, but I listen to them in the summertime, therefore they are summer songs. So let's get into it. I'm not a super fast reader, not like and I mean by fast, like I read books, and that's faster probably than most people. But like, you know, when you see a YouTuber who's like, yeah, I read 15 books this month, that's not me. So my goal this year was to read 3 books a month. So the way I've structured this is I picked 6 books, all from my personal collection that I have not read yet. And so 3 books in each month. So I might read a couple more. I'm obviously still reading Wheel of Time in the background. Got some holds at the library, all sorts of stuff. So there'll probably be other books during the summer, but these are 6 that I really want to get to. And that being said, they are all fairly chunky, or most of them are, so hopefully I get to all of it. But regardless, let's jump into it. Basically classified this, originally I was going to do 3 different categories, because I kind of read 3 different categories, which is like 19th century classics, and then 20th century classics, and then fantasy and science fiction. And I put classics in quotes because I don't really know what the definition of a classic is. These are just books that aren't a defined genre and they're kind of considered popular. But most of them kind of actually went into the 20th century, so I just did them by the year that they were released. And then I've got the fantasy and science fiction at the end. So first up, and I'm looking forward to reading, is Resurrection by Tolstoy. This looks really good. I have had this on my shelf for a little while. I read Anna Karenina in April. I've read the first 800 pages of War and Peace. And I read The Death of Ivan Ilyich. I love the way that Tolstoy writes, and I'm sure this is going to be no exception. This is the last of his major novels, so I'm excited to see how this compares to the other works. And yeah, it tells the story of a nobleman's attempt to redeem the suffering of his youthful philandering inflicted on a peasant girl who ends up a prisoner in Siberia. So is this inherently summery, this book? Probably not. But I'm looking forward to reading this in the summertime. So this should be really fabulous. That is Resurrection by Tolstoy. The next book here, moving along up in the time, the Tolstoy was 1899, so right at the end of the 19th century. This one is just on the other end of it, so this is 1901, I believe, and that would be E.M. Forster's Room with a View. I also love E.M. Forster. It's another author I've read before, and I read Maurice in February, and then I read Howard's End last summer, which was really great. I know a little bit about it. Actually, I know the whole plot because I watched the movie a little while ago, which was fabulous and only made me want to read the book more. So excited. This one definitely has a bit more of a summer vibe because Lucy Honeychurch, who's the main character, goes to Florence with an aunt or somebody she's helping out with, somebody she knows, and she meets this romantic, exciting Englishman while she's away in Florence, and she kind of gets her whole world shook. Especially concerning her romance with him and with her relationship with her fiance. So excited to be reading this one this summer. It's a little guy, so hopefully it should be good. Okie dokie. Now, so those are the first 2 books on my summer playlist. I thought I would start with some of the summer classics I'm listening to. These songs always manage to rear their heads in the summertime because I think they're fabulous summertime jams. And the first one, you know, starting it out right, starting it out with a little Dolly. Islands in the Stream by Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers. Fabulous. Look, I know sometimes this song might get a little slack because it's a little cheesy, but for me, it's just the right amount. This song is a jam, and it's a great duet. The next one that is a classic summer song for me, really a classic summer band for me, is Peaceful Easy Feeling by the Eagles. This song is really great. Super summery. I don't know what else to say but summery. And then the final one for this portion, As by Stevie Wonder. This song is fabulous. Such a jam, so groovy. And I mean, it's Stevie Wonder. What are you going to expect other than absolute greatness? So that's one portion of my summer playlist. Back into books. This is becoming a summer tradition, and I don't know if that's just because I associate this author with summer or because I only ever read one book of his a year and then I'm like filled up, I'm good, I don't need any more the rest of the year, and it just happens that that time that I read is during the summer. And that author is Ernest Hemingway. So this is For Whom the Bell Tolls. I started this book a while ago and didn't finish it, so I'm going to be trying to get all the way through it this time. Last summer I read The Sun Also Rises, which was pretty good. I enjoyed that one a lot, and the summer before that I read Farewell to Arms. They were pretty close in terms of which one I liked better. I think I actually liked The Sun Also Rises a little bit more in terms of the feel of it, the atmosphere. So this one, I know that this one is about the Spanish Civil War, and it's about an American who goes over there. So, like I said, I've read the first third of this book and then put it down and then didn't pick it up again, so we'll see how much I remember. But looking forward to reading this one, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, next, I don't want to dwell on this one too long because I already talked about it. And it's just because I'm obsessed with the way this book looks, and I'm obsessed with the plot of this book. And so excited to dive in. And that is the Makioka Sisters by Tanizaki. This is a Japanese book. This is the Penguin Vintage Japan books. I mean, this looks fabulous. It was in my last video. I'm not going to talk about it too much. I get into the plot in that one too. This is interwar fiction, takes place just before the Second World War, and it's about four sisters grappling with their life and their kind of crumbling family fortune and name. So, super excited to be reading this book as well. Fabulous. Now, back into some songs. Switching gears a little bit. The next three that I picked are some newer finds, some songs that have not always been with me in the summertime, but in the last couple summers have found their place in my summer playlist. You know, kind of going with this theme of newer classics versus older classics. These are some newer classics. First of all, it's a fabulous little song called Shame, Shame, Shame by Shirley and Company. This song I think I discovered in a Spotify recommended, like a For You playlist. This song is just a jam. Funky, really great dance song, all those kind of things. So Shirley and Company's Shame, Shame, Shame. And then the next one I'm excited to have on my playlist, which I just discovered like a few weeks ago, is Complicated by Poi Dog Pondering. This song, just, you know when a song hits you right where you need it to? At a certain time, I don't know, the lyrics of this song just really worked for me. The jam is great. It's like that kind of 90s, I don't know how to describe it. If you listen to it, you just know that it's like 90s. That probably doesn't make any sense, but listen to it and it will. So that song I'm super excited to be listening to. And then the next song that is on my summer playlist is Funk 49 by the James Gang. Is this song necessarily a summer song? No, but just those early 70s distorted garage band kind of guitars just make me think of the heat of summer. Great song. Highly recommend. It's on my summer playlist. Okay, now we're getting into the final segment. This is exciting. This is the fantasy science fiction. So now we're going to take not even a left turn into totally different territory, but we're actually going to just blast off entirely into something totally different from the last four books. And we're going to start off with a science fiction. This has been on my shelf for a little while, and I've been interested in reading these books for a little while, but I have Dune by Frank Herbert. This is the first book in a series. Obviously, there's a movie coming out eventually, but yeah, I'm excited. I don't know anything about this. I know there was another movie, old movie, which I don't know that much about either because I haven't seen it, but I just know that it doesn't make a lot of sense. So I'm excited to read this one. Dune. It got me as soon as I read a stunning blend of adventure and mysticism, environmentalism, and politics. I love politics in my fantasy and science fiction, so I'm excited for this one. I think it's just about a family, royal family, duking it out with the other royals' families, but in space, or something like that. See, I'm keeping it real. I really don't know what's going on in this book. I'm going in blind. So that's Dune. Excited to be reading this one. Fabulous. Okay, this last one I got a little while ago, and I've been obsessed ever since. Because I'm reading a fantasy right now, I'm reading The Dragon Reborn, which is the third Wheel of Time book. I didn't want to start another fantasy book right in the middle of that, especially another big one. So I've been holding off for the past week, and I'm hoping to get to it this summer. But I've literally been so obsessed with this book that I will pull it off the shelf just to look at it and then put it back on the shelf. And that is The Priory of the Orange Tree. You'll see in my stories, I got this a little while ago and I was talking about it. I just think this book looks great. I'm super looking forward to this. This has been all over the place. I've seen it a bunch of places. I know people really love it, so I'm excited to jump into this one, especially from the angle of I've read a lot of fantasy books, fantasy series that were written by men, featured male characters, which is all fine and dandy, but I haven't really found or discovered a female fantasy writer that I've been like really into. So I'm really hoping that this is fabulous, because this looks like it's full of all the stuff that I love in fantasy, which is high fantasy. So a totally new world, different races, different kingdoms, all that kind of stuff. But also, like, it seems full of politics, which I know for some people is like the biggest yawn fest ever, but I love politics in my fantasy, so I think this is going to have that in spades. But yeah, that's The Priory of the Orange Tree by, oh, I didn't say it before, Samantha Shannon. So looking forward to this one. This one I'm super hyped on, so I hope it lives up to that expectation, but it looks fabulous. Okay, that was my fantasy science fiction, and the last 3 songs that I'm talking about for my summer playlist, which I hope you'll check out. I have other songs on there, other songs by some of the repeated artists here, as well as other artists. So, and I'll leave the link to that in my description, my Spotify playlist, so you can check it out. The last 3 were just 3 songs that I was like, are these really summer songs? Probably not. But I'm listening to them in the summertime. And like I said, if I'm listening to them in the summertime, they're summertime songs. So, the first is very exciting for me, because it's Rosalie by Thin Lizzy, and I've been on a huge Thin Lizzy kick the last month or so, and I discovered the song, and it's just a rocker, it's just a banger, it's just exciting and fun, and I loved the name so much, Rosalie, that's my kitten's name, Lil Rosalie. So yeah, that's a great song. It's really fun. It's originally a Bob Seger song. I like the Thin Lizzy version better, so what you gonna do? And the next one is a classic. This is a pretty popular one. You might know this. This is Beast of Burden by Rolling Stones. I've never been a huge Rolling Stones fan. I was always a Beatles girl myself, even though you shouldn't really pit bands together. And I discovered the song a couple months ago. It's not necessarily a summery evoking song, but it's just really good. Really bluesy and full of just good jams, good lyrics, all that kind of stuff. So, Beast of Burden by the Rolling Stones. Excited to be listening to it this summer and all the summers. And then finally, my most recent kind of band that I've been exploring more into, Take Me to the River by Talking Heads. Just been jamming on that recently. It's got a great bass line, which as a bass player, you know, I'm instantly going to be like, yes please. So I've just been really boogieing on that song. Nobody says boogie anymore. But yeah, those are my jams. Those are the books I'm hoping to read this summer. Those are the songs that I'm listening to. And this has been really fun. I love incorporating all of my hobbies together. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I have my links in the description, as always, my Instagram and my Goodreads, and also my Spotify playlist will be in the description as well. So you can check it out to listen to what I'm listening to this summer. I'm constantly updating my seasonal playlists, so check it out. New songs might be popping up all the time. But yeah, that's all I have today. As always, if you enjoy the content that I'm making, please leave a like, a comment, subscribe, all those fun YouTube things, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!